take that book.
I think you've done pretty well for your first go at this.
Oh, that's the first time anyone's ever said that to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where is your...
Oh no!
Where is... I'm not sure what you've done with it.
Hey team, it's Henry here. Today we're at the old auction house and we're going to try bookbinding with Rhain.
My name's Rhain. I'm from the old auction house in Kyneton. We are in Kyneton Craftery at the moment, which is one of our studios, and this whole space is all about art and craft and fun and community engagement.
Yeah!
Okay, so we are making a no-sew book today,
Yep.
so that you don't have to have terribly many specialised pieces of like material or anything. It's going to have what's called a reverse piano hinge, so it's actually held together in here by a little piece of paper.
Yep.
So the first thing we're going to do is the boring part of folding all the signatures. The pages of the book, all these sections are called signatures. 3 or 5 sheets for handmade books tends to work pretty well.
So it's like a signature book. Do you remember signature books?
Oh yeah, exactly. You do have a bone folder there if you want to get them really tight.
Bone folder.
But otherwise, if you don't have one, you can literally...
Bone folder sounds like a great band name.
Yeah, it would be.
So could you tell us about how the old auction house started?
Yeah, so this is mainly set up around one of our studios. That's our glass studio, and then we built the rest of the space around it. We've got all these other studios, including this one, Kyneton Craftery, and then we've got the galleries and the handmade shop. And it's all about supporting other small makers, as well, like local area, but all over Australia, and then supporting emerging and mid-career artists as well, because it's sometimes quite hard for them to get a bit of a foothold in this industry.
Yeah.
Once you've got all your signatures, we have to actually cut these slits in them. So if you line it up on the bottom, and you can actually just mark here with a pencil where the hole is, and mark the pencil where the top
Oh,
is.
okay.
And then we can cut the little slits. It's the only thing with the bookbinding, there is a little bit of repetitive kind of processes, but it
Kind
can
of
be
like
quite
the
meditative.
repetitive,
Yeah. I quite like sitting down doing all of the signatures all at once and then
Yeah.
do the next bit and then the next bit.
Okay. Does that kind of, does teaching it change the kind of relaxing
sometimes sometimes it does. I mean, I quite like teaching other people and helping them to learn the skills, so that's still quite relaxing. But also, people come with like their own questions and ideas you've never thought of, and how can I've made this, but how can I do this? And that's quite a nice challenge as well. And it doesn't seem to matter what the activity is, people come away with a real sense of achievement and purpose, and they've tried something different. They mightn't ever go home and do it again. They might take it up as a hobby, and they might never do it again. And that's perfectly fine because they're trying something. They're having a nice day out.
Yeah.
They're meeting new people. So the worst thing with bookbinding is it involves sharp knives and needles and things.
Yep.
And you have to make sure you don't stab yourself because then you bleed all over the paper.
Great.
The next thing we're going to do is just slice from those dots because the binding we're using a centimetre, we're just going to go slightly longer than a centimetre. Our motto around here is craft, chat, caffeinate, which I think is pretty straightforward what we're all about. We find a lot of people that come to it, any of our classes, that's the couple of hours of the week that they have off, they have to themselves. They might be carers, they might be mums, they might have a really stressful job, and even some of them might just be a bit socially isolated, so to get out and hang out with other people, something a bit different to do on your Friday night. It's not like Kyneton has nightclubs anyway.
Well, why isn't there like a night craft thing?
We do run them occasionally.
Oh no, I mean like...
all night.
I mean like a nightclub for crafting. Has anyone got a glue stick? Do you ever have trouble using them?
Sometimes. I think it's good sometimes, especially if you gift it to someone, to maybe like write something in the front, especially something like a book, because then they don't worry so much about damaging it or... So if you write an inscription maybe, or write your name on the front page, or... write
blood on it or whatever.
Exactly, bleed all over it. You're happy to use it. Basically what we're trying to do is make the bit that holds all the pages in together. And these are one long strip. So you'll have to pick what colour you want.
I'll go
We're going to fold them.
Just so you can't see the blood.
What we need is we have a strip that goes across the front, and then we have to have strips that go in the middle.
Yeah.
So I've done the calculations that the first strip needs to be 9 centimeters long. I find if I fold over my ruler it works a bit better. Then we need pairs of however many signatures we have. So we need 10 1 centimeter folds. Have you ended up with 10?
Maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And then we need another 9 centimeters at the end, and then you can just cut that off. Then what you want is have a strip at the start and then just concertina those into there.
This is exactly like the stuff. Do you remember like in high school being, maybe this is just me, being really bored and you get a piece of paper and fold it?
Yeah,
like
exactly. That's exactly the same process. That's what the middle of the book looks like.
Yeah.
The terrible part of this is you have to make the second one.
Oh, what? Alright. What is the largest book you can think of?
I got told that I had to stop making this one.
Why do you think that people keep doing crafts like this when there are machines that can do it?
I mean, there's a big difference between a handmade book and a machine-made book. Mm-hmm. I think mainly for people there's that real pride in making it. You gift these things to people and they know not only have you given them a gift, but you've actually spent your time on it, doing that work, thinking it through, picking the colours they might like. I don't know, maybe my family and friends don't like it, but I make them a lot of presents. They always say thank you, they always seem genuine. You've spent that time, you've made the book, you've done all of that, and then you've given it to them, so you're giving them part of yourself. And every time they look at that book or that card or that glass platter, they know that somebody made it for them and was thinking of them. And I think it actually gives you a bit more of an insight into what goes into these things, because everything now it's mechanised. I think people don't necessarily know what goes behind the making of all these.
When I was in high school, I wanted to do this glass project. I can't count and talk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, I wanted to do this glass project, which was going to be a self-portrait, and I wanted to get a mold of my face, and then mold glass over that mold. I got the initial mold, but then I ran out. It turns out glass takes ages, and I didn't realise it.
Yes.
So what I decided to do instead was use like a vinyl record. I was going to melt that over the top. And so I used my parents' microwave.
Oh, were they happy about that?
No, because I left the paper on and it caught fire.
The next bit we have to do is actually thread them in. So if you open the hole up a little bit, you're threading them from the outside, and those folded bits need to pop through both layers and into the middle. So you should end up with most of it on the outside. Sometimes it's easier to do a couple of pages at a time if they get stuck.
So like this guy?
Yeah, perfect.
Oh,
and then put the other one on the bottom, what's your gold one there, down onto the other end. Yep, this is one of those things you can't really do on top. That's a lot.
It's nice though, it kind of feels like, you know, like I'm protecting the book in a way.
Yeah, you're allowed to swear at this. Use like flock or something.
Oh, flock's good.
Flocked paper, flocked material.
What's flocked paper?
That is actually flocked paper. See that raised
texture
on it? That's called flocking. Cool, so once you've got them both through, you
slot
that into both sections. Yeah, that's just the hinge. So that's like a hinge pin basically. Do the same with the next signature.
What was the word? Flock.
Flock.
So what started you off on crafting?
We've always done it. I have weird hippie parents and we grew up with a TV. It's the sort of, something like these books are the sort of thing you can pick up and put down whenever you've got time.
Yeah.
For me, if I don't have something like a project to work on, I will just, because I run my own business, work all of the hours of the day.
Yeah.
Whereas if I've got like a book that I really want to make or something like that, it sort of almost gives me like that lenience to justify going off and doing something else with my time. And then also you get that you can share it with people, you can do it, you can sit in the same room and I can make a book and you can do something else, and you still got that company, but you've got your own activities going on. We know that you get to know people that maybe just not having the greatest day, and like sometimes walk in and say, I'm not having a great day, but I still want to be here. It's like, that's okay. You can just work quietly in the corner, and when you want someone to chat to. The next part of the process, I promise, once you get these together, is a lot less taxing on your brain.
Okay, yeah, well...
Unless you don't like making decisions, because there's a lot more decision making for the next.
Oh, I can never go to Subway, ever.
If you're going to go to a larger page size, you'd want a bit more support. Well, something this small too works pretty
Guess
well.
that makes me a larger page size.
We do all sorts of different themes and exhibitions. This year we had a 99-year-old who had always painted and drawn but never exhibited, so she had an exhibition for her 99th birthday, which was really lovely.
So cool.
I mean, we support over 120 Australian families out in the handmade shop from all over the country.
Yeah.
And they are all small makers.
Oh, come on.
You're getting up to the tricky.
Yeah, it's the last one. It's okay, we can do it. I'm not gonna...
You thought this was going to be relaxing.
I'm not gonna cry, no matter what.
You can cry. It's
Okay.
okay. It's a safe space.
Thank
You're more
you.
than welcome to cry.
Does repeating it over and over doesn't take the joy out of making it? Or?
I don't think so. So I never make really two exactly the same, because so you can do different covers and different colours and that. I don't mind doing the same thing over and over. Sometimes it's sort of quite meditative to chill out and just do the same. Something you don't have to think about so much, because you can think about other things, or you can just sort of focus on threading the thing back into the gap, or I'm going to do it in sections.
Yeah.
The reason we need these bits is just to hold them still. You're not going to see them, so you can either trim them back or you can keep them long. So I'm going to use this glue. This is actually wheat paste glue. You have to cook it before you make it, so I've cooked it up just in the microwave. I didn't set the microwave on fire.
Yeah, well done.
You won't see much of the inside, so we just hide in our messy edges.
Yep.
And then you can put your other colours on top. So this is where you have to make decisions.
Okay.
You've got to choose your favourite colours. I tend to put a plainish colour in the background, because then you can really make all the other colours pop.
Plainish colour. Like a B52 or...
Yeah, exactly. This is old paper from a ledger, like a record book, but it makes sort of cool backgrounds.
I should have used the, what's it called?
Flocking, you can still use that. I find I happen to know this is a 10 centimetre square. I find if you cut yourself squares that are about 14 centimetres, they will just cover you in a bit easier. Because you don't have to be so precise when you're wrapping it around. And neither of us are capable of counting.
I know, without
counting and talking, it's correct.
I think it is satisfying. You know the people that cut out stuff really well?
Yeah.
I think that is satisfying. Like, you know when you get something in primary school to cut out, and you do, what I used to do, you cut out all the things, so just leave the whole page as one.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So, I like to put the glue onto this box board because it's so absorbent. So leave it a tiny, I think you just fold it in a bit, and then if you just leave it go a little bit further than the corner on an angle, it just folds in nicely. When you're down, just stab it with a pair of tweezers.
Is that your motto for life?
Solves a lot of problems, causes a couple hours.
Is there a difference between teaching adults versus kids?
The kids tend to listen more.
Okay, come on.
Don't flop it up.
Okay, great. Oh, and then how do you...
So, all I did was covered the inside. I used this thicker glue. And then you've got your book done.
Yeah.
To set. Without them falling apart.
Without them, yeah.
Because they're glued on dry.
Very tightly.
You can sit there, you can create something like cutting all of the paper to the right size. You really just zone into that. It's sort of almost an active kind of mindfulness. If I just sit around and just try and meditate, my brain just goes off on tangents and doesn't want to do it. It hears that, I don't know, thing rustling outside and decides that it's going to kick back into gear. But also I find sometimes if you've got some sort of problem that you're trying to solve in something else, or this gives you the time to, you're not really thinking about it, but you sort of are thinking about it. And you're working on one other thing at the same time. So It just means that whatever it is that you were going to sit around and obsess over suddenly is not so obsessive. You're making a logo.
It's supposed. Well, it's the lead. Yeah, I couldn't think of anything more creative.
How are you going to do the brain?
I don't know. Yep.
It works better if you,
Quick glue. Quick glue. Quick